Ladies and gentlemen,
Let's try this again.
today is episode 9 of Bored with the Boys, starring me, Christian, and Timmy, and Scott, and Brian. And today we're talking about TV shows.
Or at least that's what we're gonna start.
I don't
with.
think that's what we're doing.
All right.
Brian
TV
was
shows.
gonna make a phone call. He's like,
Next topic.
Cool TV shows. Who's watching what? Who's
shows are
watching what
good.
right now?
What is hip?
Nothing.
What's going on, man?
Biggest TV
Unsolved
show I'm
Mysteries
watching right
is
now
going.
is Puppy Dog Pals.
Puppy
Oh,
Dog
nice.
Okay.
Pals.
We're going back.
We're not going back. That's current.
Oh,
you said that was-
I don't watch kid shows.
Puppy Dog Pals.
Puppy Dog Pals is good. PJ Masks.
Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
I don't
Mixed
watch
Up
anything.
Adventures. Come on.
All right, no one's watching a whole lot right now.
no one's
let's-
no one's watching anything.
Let's jump back a little bit. What's a good show that you would, if someone said recommend me a show to watch, any show, what would you recommend them? Go.
Game of Thrones.
I still haven't watched.
I still haven't watched.
I
that.
watched it, but it's good. But apparently like the books are like a lot better than the show itself.
That's
Usually
usually,
it's the
how
case.
it always is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't recommend it?
No, not even Walking Dead too, because that's totally off. Like that's the book itself. Like
Yeah, but
how.
you can't compare. If you're talking about TV shows, you can't talk about.
All right, so
comparison to
no
the
one's
book.
read the books.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
all right. Then out of Walking Dead, okay, throwing this out of there. Walking Dead or Game of Thrones?
Well, I mean, I thought Walking Dead was like awesome up until I like stopped watching it, but not because I didn't like it. It was just because I just like got busy, missed like a whole season, and then just never got back into it. So of the two, I'd probably say Walking Dead, just because I never saw Game of Thrones. But
I'm gonna say Walking Dead, but only because I didn't binge watch it. I actually waited for the seasons to come out, and I got attached to it and shit. Game of Thrones, I binged it in like 2 months. You know what I mean? So I was never really super attached to a character when they died or whatever.
so
I,
that's a good
Yeah.
topic. So what do you think is better, binging or having to wait week to week?
ooh, I always like binging it like at first because I'm like, yeah, I can just watch and like
Just
get
crush
them
it.
all out. I don't have to wait, and then like you watch it way too fast, and then you're like, oh, well, now I have nothing to watch. Now I'm sad. Like, it's like, oh man, now I'm over. Now what do I do? So
Yeah,
it's like good and bad.
I wish that's the one thing I wish I did with Game of Thrones was watch it when it was actually on TV.
Space it out.
Yeah,
I feel
I
like.
say,
Oh, go ahead.
I would say just binge it because it's always good to like see all the episodes and then end it with something good instead of waiting for that one moment. You're like, I gotta wait for till next week.
So
But that's like
That's a good
part of
point,
it.
though,
It's kinda
'cause-
fun.
yeah, like I feel like binging is good for like your personal like satisfaction,
Schedule.
but it's bad
Oh.
for like making a memory of the show. Like you watch it, you like love it. You don't. There's no like waiting for anything around. But then like in a year from now, you probably don't even remember that show. You're like, oh yeah, I think I watched that one like in that
Mm.
one weekend. But like if you watch something like over the course of like years, where like you have to wait every week and you don't watch it all winter and stuff like that, I feel like it sticks with you more because you like think about it all week and that kind of thing. So I feel like that's like a big thing too.
Yeah.
Especially
kinda
with the DC shows. Like Arrow was
Yeah,
a
I mean,
big thing back then.
I used to watch like
Flash.
Flash and stuff and all those like week to week, and like those shows were like really good. And now I'm like seasons and seasons behind. If I were to just
Yeah.
binge them all, it like wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be as exciting because you'd just be like, oh, let me just jump to the next episode.
It's kind of weird. You would think you would remember it more because you like it's if you binge it because you watch it more recently, but it's kind of the opposite. You kind of watch too much, and then like you said, it kind of all just mushes in together, and you don't really remember.
Because I feel like you
Yeah.
watch the same amount of minutes of the show, but it occupies your mind for less amount of time, right? Because if you watch it week to week, it's like you're thinking about it in between. So it's like you're actually thinking about it more than if
Yeah,
you were just binging it. If you binge it, you still watching the same amount of minutes, but you're actually thinking about
Yeah.
it less. So it's like
it's only like 10 seconds in between every episode.
yeah, you wait for the
Yeah.
little next episode counter.
right. You don't have that time to process like what you just watched
Yeah.
and kind of
Well,
think about it.
the only
It's just
downside-
the next thing.
the only downside to binging is the spoilers. A lot of people spoil things on social media. It's ridiculous. Like you can't even
Yeah. Well, yeah,
can't
that's
even
like
not get away from the ending or like something happening to some person.
yeah. I feel like binging is now like a competition. Like who can binge it faster.
Mhm.
But then it's like even worse. You're like, season 5 of whatever came out today. I finished it today. It's like, all right, well now you got to wait like 2 years for it to come out again.
I just feel like too, me, because you said like Game of Thrones, like how many seasons is that? It's like
8.
8.
yeah, I feel like if I'm 8 seasons behind something, I just like it's so reluctant to even start it. 'Cause
So
I'm like,
daunting.
I don't even want to do that.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know what episode Arrow's on.
Yeah, I stopped watching
I
like
mean, it's
Yeah.
7 seasons.
Flash and Arrow too. I don't know.
Like I'm sure I would like them all. I
Yeah.
enjoyed all the shows, and I just like dropped off when things got busy, and
Same.
like they were really good. And if I jump back into them, I'd probably like them. But it's just like now, like Tim said, it's like it's so daunting. It's like, oh my god, I can't just catch up on like 10 episodes. I got to catch up on like fucking 150 episodes, and it's like,
And they do all the crossover things, and you have to watch the other shows to
In
like
order.
kind of make sense. So you have to watch like 4 different shows to catch up on like one show.
Mm.
So if you would put this in mind right now, to see, even if it's past or present, what is the one show, just like what Scott recommend, but this one is something that you enjoyed, you would sit there and rewatch it over and over.
so maybe like a
You love
guilty
the character's story.
like a guilty pleasure, maybe. Like you don't recommend it, but it's like you would always watch it whenever you could, basically. Kind of like that.
Put it that way.
But it's just like another way to think about it. Like if it's not the one that you're gonna recommend, it might just be something that's like, I don't know, kind of like a guilty pleasure. Like maybe you don't tell everybody like you watch it every time. It's like your default go to. But I don't know.
Like,
I don't want to change
Gilmore
your question, but
But yeah, what's one of the shows that you would say, or you can recommend to the audience?
like you'd never get sick of.
Can it be a movie?
No.
Well, it's a TV show.
We did movies, Brian. Come on.
Come on, man.
No,
You
but
gotta
I
think
don't watch TV shows.
Thing is, me too.
I'm
I'm
gonna
not.
say like the same thing
That's
over
why-
and over again. The Walking
I'm
Dead.
not. I'm
No,
not
but
a
True.
rewatcher, but when I watch a show and I finish it, I'm pretty much done. I
yeah,
don't.
but
Yeah.
what's a good story from a TV show that you watched and you're like, man, that was actually really good.
I mean, I
Past
can't-
or present, it doesn't really matter what time. When you're
One of
younger,
Or future.
one of them. I say one of them that came to my mind just because it's one of the more recent ones that I watched, which is old, but Breaking Bad. Like it took me forever to finally watch it, but when I finally watched it, that was a really, really good show. Like it took me so long to even start, but I think that was a really good show. I enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
But I
The
would.
only shows I've ever watched that I can think of right now is The Walking Dead and Game of Thrones. So
that's something, you know.
I think story wise for me, I gotta go back to like an old favorite. Christian, you know this one. It's probably
I think I know.
it's only like a few shows I really like followed when I was like an adult. You know what I mean? And it's Fringe.
Yeah.
Like Fringe was like a CW or a Fox show or something like that, and it was like a week-to-week show, and it was basically like science fiction. What show was it really? It was really close to like a couple other shows.
X-Files, kind
Yeah,
of.
kind of like X-Files, like sci-fi stuff, and it was just really cool, like cool characters, really good story. They kind of got like, kind of like the show Lost. Like the show was like really interesting, and then the writers were like, got so far they were like, oh shit, we don't know how to like bring it back. That's kind of like what happened to that show. They had so many like loose ends they never really like filled in. So like the final season was like a weird, just like, oh, here you go, this is like how we're gonna finish it. But yeah, that was like a really good like thought-provoking story. But yeah, it's hard because if you think back, like I've binged a ton of shows like since like Netflix and stuff has been around, and so many of them were like really good, but I can't recall them because like binging doesn't like stick in my head. Like if you show me a list, I'm like, oh, that was good, but like I only know like some of the ones that I watched like over time.
Mm-hmm. I never say like what you're saying kind of about the movies thing too is like every show that I watch that I like watch the whole show is I'll say it's like good. Like I'll never say like a show is terrible.
If you
Like,
watched it, it wasn't that bad.
exactly. Yeah, it'd give you some form of entertainment, so it was good. It did something.
All
But
right,
also,
so
oh, go ahead.
so me, I kind of give a two-part answer to this because I have two shows I would recommend. One
Go for it.
is right now still going, I think, Into the Badlands. I really like that.
Oh, yeah, see, I completely
See?
forgot about Badlands.
Yeah.
I watched that one with Tim, and then like we missed like 1 week together, and then we're like, oh, we couldn't catch up, and then it just was gone, and now we're like so far behind, and that show was awesome.
I forgot that was a thing, and I
Yeah,
love
so
it.
I just like it just because of the characters and like.
And I
how
think
they
it's over actually.
features. Oh, it is.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't see last season. That's why I need to go back and watch
I think,
that. And oh no, you can go.
I was saying, I think I missed the last 2 seasons. Like the last season, I think was like cut short because they like canceled it on AMC. And then the season before that, I think me and Tim missed the whole thing. I think it's like on Netflix now too. I just like just one of those shows is like, I'll never get around to watching every show I missed. But yeah, that show was really cool concept.
Funny thing is, actually, it took me so long to watch Lost, and I actually watched all episodes in like a month. And actually,
like
it was
10
pretty
seasons.
good. Like, yeah, I literally watched the whole season. But my other part answer is Supernatural. I really love that show. Since day one when it came out on WB, I just love supernatural things and like all that aspect of like ghosts and like gods and stuff like that. It's just nuts. Demons.
Cool stories.
I got a little TV show question for us.
Oh.
So one show that you used to watch or you started watching, it got canceled and you wish they'd bring back.
Oh god, that's a lot of shows like that.
One I remember vividly.
Shit.
It's called V. It was about aliens
Yeah,
and shit.
V was good. I liked V.
It was awesome.
Did you recommend this to me, Scott? I don't
think
remember.
so. It was a long time ago, but oh man, there's a ton of shows. Like a lot of like first season like pilot shows. Like oh this is pretty cool, and then they all just get canceled.
Mhm.
I know one. Swamp Thing.
Yeah, dude, Swamp Thing was really good. See, that's hard, like because I feel like there's a difference between like season 1 shows that get canceled after like they feel like nobody watched it, or shows that are going good and then all of a sudden stop. But like when you think they could go 10 seasons, but they stop at like 3 or 4. I feel like there's like a difference between the two. Like Swamp Thing went 1 season, it was like really, really good, but like DC's just all fucked up. They don't know what they're doing.
All right, I'll give you another one. Scott, you watched this, and I actually really enjoyed this show itself, Jericho.
Jericho, that was 1 season, right?
I think it was 2 seasons, and then they just cut it short.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, we'll finish it in the comic books. I was like, that's not even remotely close. Like,
dude, but that show was, I love that show. Like the
Jericho
story,
was cool.
how it was going, pushing towards like the new future of what they were trying to get to, because everything like got destroyed by a nuclear blast. I think it was.
Yeah, it was like a bunch of nukes. So it was kind of like post-apocalyptic, but like it was like nuclear apocalypse, which is kind of cool because you don't really see that often. You usually see like zombies or something like that, but like nuclear apocalypse was like something really cool, and the show was pretty good. Like they didn't really go that much into like that part of it, but it was just like a lot of like mystery and unknown. Like that was cool.
What's the other one that's similar to that one? The one with the
like
the flies.
Yeah, and they would steal the power. There's no power, right?
Yeah.
Revolution, right?
Yeah, that's another one.
That show was
really
really good too. Yeah, like it was really simple in the beginning, and I was like, oh, it was alright. But towards the end, when they start going into like the story of like what's happening and that kind of stuff, I was like, oh, this is pretty sick.
Yeah, the guy from the new game that's coming out, Far Cry 6, is in it.
This guy who played Gus in Breaking Bad.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
I don't know
He's
who
a
that
good
is.
actor.
Have you seen Bounty Hunter?
It's Giancarlo
Nope.
Esposito.
Oh yeah.
You see Breaking Bad?
I haven't seen it, but I know that guy. He's been in a bunch of stuff. He was in the like the Maze Runner movies and stuff.
Oh
too.
yeah, I totally forgot about that too.
Those are good movies. Yeah, he was he was
oh,
like the
man. Yes, yeah.
he was like the father of like the girl who was like infected or something like that.
Yeah. Well, no, yeah. Who's like, father figure, but yeah.
Yeah, father. He's like the group leader or something. But
Yeah, it was. I liked him in that. I forgot that was him.
he's a good actor.
Yeah, he is.
What was the question?
I was gonna say something else, though. I was gonna say,
He was saying shows that got canceled. Yeah, I mean, all of those are solid, super solid choices.
I never really watched a show that got canceled for some reason, but
To the balance.
well, I guess, but I didn't even catch
But
up
that's
on
hard
that.
because that's like later.
I was gonna say, like, kind of tying it into what we've talked about before about like getting together with friends and stuff, like playing in the same room and stuff. Like a show like Walking Dead, would you have been as into it as if you just started by yourself? Because I know like like me and you started it together, and like Brian would come over, and it would be like our ritual. Like every Sunday, we would go over to your house and watch it. And, like that was part of the thing, and then like also like the community behind Walking Dead made it big. And like me and Brian went to like one of the convention things, and it's like I think a show
the Talking
like
Dead.
that. Yeah, like do you think like if it was just a show that didn't have as much community base and like we weren't together to watch it, would be as good alone as a show, or do you think that made the show better because of that? You know,
I think it made it better because you like human nature is like you're way more expressive when you're around people. You know what I mean? So it's even once we started together and then we weren't together, we would be like texting each other, but that's because we had already like formed that like
that's I was gonna say like,
so it's like
I was gonna say like a similar thing, like the days that we didn't watch it together, like I don't know, I wasn't like as into it as much. It was weird.
Like you can still text each other and like be excited, but it's if you start by yourself, no one's like sitting there by themselves like holy shit, like like that never happens. Like maybe you're like oh damn, like wow, like but you say it in your head, you like you do the old smirk or something like
because like I just feel like some people that like they hopped on The Walking Dead like late or something, they try to like start late and watch it by themselves, and they're like oh you know I didn't like the show, but like you think those same people, if they started it with friends and stuff, that they would like the show more, even though it's the same show, like the show more if they watch it.
That's interesting too, because I never thought about that, because you know when you see a show like Walking Dead, which I mean you can argue about certain aspects of it, but I mean it's a good show. Like I think there's a lot of good qualities if you're into that kind of thing, but like to see people that would actually watch it, like spend the time to watch it and then just rip it apart, and it's like man, like how are people so different? But I guess I never thought of it like your way. Like that person could just be sitting at home like you know half like scrolling through Instagram, just like what is this guy died now? Oh my god, this show sucks. And it's like to us we're like this is like we're like our minds are blown. But it's like, man, maybe that person's just in a different like mindset, watching it in a different like environment, and to him, it's just not that interesting. So it's like you kind of can't really blame. I mean, you could blame him for being like an asshole on the internet, like because no one really needs to hear your negative output. But yeah, that's interesting. I never like thought of it in that way.
My story, how I got into The Walking Dead was, I actually didn't even know it was a show until my cousin, he had the DVD set of the first season. And he let me borrow it, and we watched it. We binged the first season with him. So I kind of did it with a friend, you know. That's kind of what we're talking about. Like if I feel like I wouldn't have even known what it is. Yeah. If he didn't tell me.
That's true. I guess that's kind of true of like almost every show I've ever watched. Me and Christian are usually always like in contact about shows and movies and stuff. But like me and Christian were playing football with another friend on some random afternoon, like a long ass time ago. And Christian's like, oh, you see that new zombie show? I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? He's like, oh, it's Walking Dead. And I was like, sounds stupid. Like,
one of our buddies, Kevin, actually got me into it. I was like, what is that? Yeah. And then I watched it. I was like, wow, it's actually good. I got to tell Scott.
Yeah. And I remember you like that afternoon, I was like doing nothing. And I was like, oh, and I like watched, it was like almost the whole first season, like just kind of binged it on Comcast. Like it was super shitty back then, like trying to navigate through that. And then like I ended up watching like the next, it was only like 4 or 5 episodes in the first season. It was like super small. And like when that ended, I was like, oh, it's pretty sick. And then like they updated for season 2 and stuff. And that's when I told like Michelle and I told Tim, like, oh, you should check out the show. And they both like watched the first episode of the first season. Like when I was there, like just in their living room, and they were like, well, the show's like
wait for the reaction.
Yeah, and they were like, this show's really good. And then like that rest of that weekend, you guys spent watching the first season. And like that's kind of like how you got into it. And season 2 is when you came over and started watching it together, and that began all of that.
I think my buddy Cody told me about it at first, and then I was just like, oh yeah, that sounds cool. And then and then you said it again. I'm like, oh, I think I heard about that. And then we started watching.
And you watched it that time. You're like, oh, this is pretty cool. It's like different.
But that's what I mean. Like I enjoyed that aspect of it just as much as the show itself. Like have our little like Sunday thing, just come over, hang out, and just like.
But even like under that same context, like Tim, you and I started watching all of like the Netflix Marvel shows.
Mm-hmm.
So like we would binge it, but only binge it together. So like we actually were like getting more into it, because like we wouldn't just like be up all night. Oh, sometimes, but like you know, we actually had like more than one person, so we were like more expressive about the whole thing, and like that made like those first couple seasons like really interesting. And like now, like I try to like watch like some of the ones we missed. I was like, oh, I just can't, like, not that they're bad. It's just like I can't like sit there and get into it, because it's like watching a show by yourself is so much different.
Yeah, you don't have that discussion.
Yeah, you don't have the
After-
discussion and like, oh, like this and that's kind of cool. You just like sitting there trying to watch it. And again, not that they're bad, and I'm sure a lot of people watch shows by themselves, but it's super different if you start watching it with people than try to like do it by yourself.
There's another show that got canceled. You can say that.
Well, all of them got canceled.
No, I mean that like
That's not canceled.
No, you're talking about
all the Marvel Netflix shows.
Oh,
Yeah. Agents of Shield is pretty good. I'm still watching. This is final season.
Yeah, I'm not watching anything
never
at this
watched
point.
Me neither. I watch some like random stuff here and there, but I never really. Right now, I'm not really.
I never really got into like Marvel or DC. I only really watched the Avengers and what's the other one? Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. I mean, the shows are cool. Like, if you don't know the characters, the shows do a good job of like explaining them. So if you're like into that like genre, you would enjoy the shows. They were different and it was cool. But yeah, it's just kind of like the whole like community aspect definitely like adds to anything. You know what I mean? Like games, TVs, movies, like it's added a huge element.
So if you were to go, I got a question. Like, if you were to go back and if you have the time to ever watch a show, which one would you go back and finish up?
Oh, Jesus! It's like
Just that one, just
To rewatch it or like finish
just
up?
finish it. Just finish it in general.
I don't know if I've ever. I mean, I guess this is no. So that was going to be my answer.
yeah, because Walking Dead.
Yeah.
It's only more recently that I've like stopped watching shows. Like previously, like I used to finish most things, but yeah, probably Walking Dead, I guess.
I got halfway through the last season. I think it was like 10 or something, whatever the hell they're on now. I got halfway through and then I just stopped.
I stopped when Rick left. I was like, yeah, I'm done. Wait for the movie.
I watched a couple seasons after that, but at that point, like we weren't watching it together either.
Yeah.
I think I watched like one.
Yeah, it was good, but yeah, just like you just lost track. I mean, it was on for so long. It's hard. Like your life when it starts from to when it's now, it's like completely different. Like
it's crazy how long that show. It's like you don't realize how long the show's going on, and then
you're like, oh, 10 seasons they canceled. Like that's 10 years you've been watching this show. Like that's a long time.
Wow, this first season came out then. Oh my god, I was like that old when I started watching this show. Like,
that show was really hard and consistent to like bring the characters back just because of the actors themselves. Because some people didn't want to come back and all that stuff.
That's a long time. Yeah, like I feel like as a viewer, you're so selfish. But like, you know, like just as an example, like the guy Carl or whatever his name is in real life, Chandler Riggs. It's like people complain whatever his story, but it's like, dude, like he was like super young when he started, and he's like, 8. Yeah, and it's like imagine like being 8 and like having to dedicate all that time. Like it's really cool, but at the same time, like, is that what you want to do when you're that young? Like. He kind of just like sacrificed all his young years. I'm sure he made money or whatever, but like just for the pleasure of people like watching the show. So it's kind of like people get so selfish about it, but it's like, dude, these are these people's lives. Like it's just a show. Like,
right. So like, as long as they're enjoying it, they like it, and it's not like too stressful or demanding to them. It's good, but it is true. Like they leave, and people are like, "Oh, what the hell? Like, why that person leave?" And they get pissed at them, and it's like, well, like
the most iconic character was Glenn. That a lot of people left because of him dying. They wanted him to survive.
Yeah, but it's just like a lot of shows too. Like when like Steve Carell left The Office, like he was just kind of like he was kind of done. Like it wasn't like he was written off the story. It was just like he was like I got other stuff to do. I've been doing this for like freaking so many years, and it's like as if you watch a show a lot and you're like this show's really good. Oh, it's different without him. You're like, well, yeah, it's a long ass show. Like he made decisions. Like it's like I don't know.
Yep.
Like there's a weird part of like. People get super upset about it, and it's like, yeah, like I would like him to stay on, but at the same time, it's like he's a human being. Like he's gonna like someone quits their job, and it's like, oh my god, you should have stayed at that job forever because now you're making people sad. And it's like, well, no, you moved on. It's like that's his job. It's kind of different, but it's like just like people get so like into characters and into TV shows and these movies, and it's like what?
It's just like Batwoman. They already placed the main character. Ruby Rose is already gone. She's like, I can't do this. I was like, what's the point of you starting something that's going to be very
I think there was like other things there, but yeah, I don't know. It's just like, that was actually something I wanted to talk about, not related to TV shows. It's kind of funny that it came up, but it's like, what is it that makes people get so like into these specific people into like just rage out? You know what I mean? Like it's one thing to like be like, oh, I love that character, oh, whatever. But it's like people get like this super obsessive, like even just like without, you know, leaving the topic, but like for celebrities and stuff like that, it's like, who really cares? Like, it's like entertainment, it's a show, whatever. But it's like people just go so hardcore. It's like, what is it that they're like
trash them on the
I don't
internet
know.
and shit.
Like just like publicly like swear at them and on like Twitter or whatever? And it's like, really? Like, what got you to that point? Right?
Yeah,
I guess the way that they would look at it is they're taking away from their enjoyment. Like, that character brought something so good to that show, and now you can't take it away from me.
Yeah, I guess, but it's like they don't owe them anything.
It's like they don't even know who that
That's like
human
a-
is.
That's like an entitlement that they
That's
feel they
selfishness.
deserve.
Yeah,
That person owes them entertainment when they don't have to do anything for that. They're doing it out of their own accord, and if it's good, it's good. And it's just,
that's why I feel
that's
like
weird.
some of these shows that like go long, almost like Christian brought up Supernatural. Supernatural's like it's like a record breaking show. It's like 13 or 14 seasons. It's like finally ending this season at like 14 or whatever. But it's like it's who cares if people like it? It's fine. They can keep going with it. But it's like it literally has like a cult like following. Like people like obsess about the two main characters. Like those two guys. Like they like follow them on social. They like know all their family things, and like it gets weird and creepy. It's like, and it's not really related to TV, but it's like TV. I feel like brings out, or TV shows bring out like that group, because a movie is a movie, hour and a half, whatever. But a TV show, you might have watched this person in like TV show or
10 years,
whatever, for like 10 years of your life, and these people like there's like friends, like fake friends and family that they think they have in this person.
It's just like how Tim and Brian were talking about. They went to talk like Walking Dead convention, like going there, like seeing all the people that are so obsessed with these characters and on how they act and how they are. They feel like they are them. But
like they're like crying and stuff. It's like it's cool to see them like, oh, yeah, you're that guy, awesome, man. Shake your hand, take a picture. But it's like people are like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's funny. I like to the Walking Dead convention, and we didn't even like meet a Walking Dead time.
It was just so ridiculous. The lines.
His real name is like Robin or something from it's like,
oh yeah, we met the
the guy from Gotham, right? Yeah.
Which we met him at a Walking Dead convention.
There's a penguin, Christian.
Yeah, penguin. That's what.
Oh, him. Oh yeah, the guy that died. The slaughter thing with his head chopped off or something.
He was in the Netflix show You as well.
Yeah.
No, I just remember Penguin.
You watched that, but
yeah. Anyways, that guy.
He's a good actor. But
he's good.
It was like no line for him. I was like, oh, I know who that is. Let's just go over there.
Well, because like in that show, he was like super minor.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about like dressing up as the character is like you're totally different person. Like you can enjoy, like you see yourself right now as normal people, but a lot of people love the strange, the weird, the future that they always wanted but they can't have, or like something.
I get that. Like I like the convention thing. Like I get like there's like a healthy community, but like and
it
like
crosses like obsession.
But then there's people who take it too far, like you said, and they're just like crying over people, and it's like all right, like calm down.
I haven't seen that much. When I went to last year, I went to the comic convention near us, and it actually was pretty fun.
Did they have like they had like actors and stuff?
Yep, they had the guy from Power Rangers. He was there. The Green Ranger. A lot of people. Like, yep.
Jason David Frank or something.
Yeah. Who else I was trying to think of? They had Luke Cage. I actually got an autograph from him. He's pretty cool, dude.
They when we went to the that Walking Dead thing too, there was the dude who plays Trevor in the GTA games.
Oh yeah,
that would have been awesome.
It's so cool because like he is exactly how he looks and sounds in real life. Like they model him.
He's like he acts that way too.
Yeah, so it's like that's what was weird about him is like, yes, you're seeing the real life of him, but you're also seeing him from the game because he's like exactly the same. Yeah. So it's like he's.
I feel like he got famous from that game, and like he does a lot of shows. Like I've seen him recently on Westworld.
Yeah, but he's like a pretty cool dude because he actually like does a bunch of like videos for like YouTubers and stuff too. Like Corridor and stuff actually has had him on for like videos there too, and he's like he is literally like that character. He's just like this like fun loving kind of like crazy dude.
Crazy psycho.
Yeah, he's like kind of like psycho but like friendly. He's definitely cool. But see, like that's like the line. It's like, oh, he's a cool dude, not like, oh my god, I want like his children or something.
Like what's his name? Daryl, was it?
Norman Reedus.
Yeah. One of the conventions he got bit by one of the one of his fans,
She was like a
'Cause she was
vampire.
like, no, she thought she was a zombie, something like that. And she's trying to act like the role. I don't know.
Yeah.
Some,
So
yeah,
she actually
weird.
bit him.
yeah, he actually like bit him. Not like bit him, like took a chunk, but like bit him. And then left a little mark on his like.
Like,
I
what
think
the-
it's-
like, what's the point of that?
I'll take it way too far.
that's going too far, I would say, but that's
it's
too
like-
much of a
Just as an example, like I remember like a long time ago, like the guy from Arrow, Stephen Amell. Like
Yeah.
I like follow him on Facebook, and like yeah, he does a pretty good job of like being a public person. Like he shows himself off too, and he is very different from the character. It's just funny to see like the comments of people. Like everyone's there like from the show. No one's like his normal friends. Like he kind of screwed himself by doing that. So he's like trying to like be normal on Facebook and like post a picture of his daughter or whatever. And it's like random ass people are just like, oh, like calling her by name, tell her I said hi, and oh this and that. And it's like he doesn't know you. You don't know him. And it's like I'll like see it here and there and I'll look at it. And it's like the same people like talking to him like their family. And it's just like you look at their page and they're like following all these like Arrow profile things. And it's like they're just like these weird fans that are like talking to him like, oh ha ha ha, oh Steven. And it's like he doesn't know you. Like you think you're having this conversation, but you're just being like this creep in the comments. And it's just so weird. Like I feel like that's just like one example I see still now. And it's like it's just awkward. Like I don't know. It's just weird that people get to that point, like that a character brings you that much like something that like you just latch on so hard. Maybe it's just something in their own lives. I don't know.
Yeah, when I met like the guy for Shazam and like Power Ranger and like Luke Cage, I was like, man, that was an awesome role you played. But, like
You cried.
I wish you could do more. And that's pretty much it, because I know he's a normal person. And a lot of people was like, oh my God, Luke Cage.
Yeah.
Oh my God, show me your strength. Throw something around or something.
I remember you sent me that one picture of you crying like on the floor next to one of them. That was weird.
Yeah, it was definitely Rough Snyder.
Rob Snyder.
I love that guy. The animal.
Sam. That's a good reference.
I tend to like we're talking about like how actors and like their normal lives and stuff, but I tend to like actors more if they're like actually good people in real life as well.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, not fake.
Douches.
Like if this, like I don't have people like they hate people in real life. Like if they're like a dick or an asshole in a show, they like hate that person in real life.
Yeah,
I'm like kind of the opposite. Like if there's an actor who's like a good actor, but in like real life they're like a dick, like I don't really like that, like watching that person anymore. Like I'm like the reverse, like as other people.
It's just like the guy that plays Red Skull. Like he's a real dick.
Hugo
Real
Weaving.
life. Yeah. I don't know if you guys know about him.
Hugo Weaving. He was in like he
Matrix.
played
Mr.
Agent
Anderson.
Smith.
Oh, no, not Agent Smith. Sorry.
Mr. Anderson was Neo, bro. Bro,
Yeah,
what
no,
are
I
you
keep
talking
thinking
about?
Mr. Anderson.
I know my
Yeah.
Matrix facts.
And I think
But
he
yeah, I
Matrix.
don't know anything about him. But yeah, I mean, you hear stories about a lot of people, and it's like, yeah, you like kind of hate them. But yeah, you see like a guy who plays like a bad character on TV, and you see like some interview, and it's like, oh, that dude's like super nice. Like, kind of feel bad because he.
Getting from The Walking Dead.
Yeah, people
I like
send
the guy.
people send like death threats to that guy Negan when he killed Glenn. It's like, first of all, it was in the comics. Second of all, it's an act. Like, like again, it's just so people are just stupid.
Even the governor, I think, too, right?
Yeah, like these people literally like were gonna like burn this guy's house down, like in real life. Who is not
What
that
is-
character? It's like
How does it affect you that much? Does it really affect you that much in your life that like it's so like
that's what it
ridiculous?
seems like. That person just doesn't have much besides that, so they like bury themselves into it, and like a character dies, and they're like, it's like a real family member died. They're like on the couch crying, and it's like, whoa,
Yeah.
like it's-
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to be. You can never be in somebody else's head, but yeah, it's like some of the stuff is just like so weird.
Like I said, it's like I get like a healthy obsession with some stuff where you enjoy it, but then it's always the people that take it way too far.
See, I don't mind people that enjoy the content and the concept of it. Like if you really love like the world of The Walking Dead, like I like that post-apocalyptic, like that's just such a cool thing, and like you research it and like you know all about it. But it's like
That's fine, yeah.
if you're like all into like a person, it's like you could be into the character, but as soon as you cross over to like, oh, now I'm into Daryl, but now like I know everything about Norman Reedus's childhood and where he went to school. It's like, okay, now you're just being dumb.
Between Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead, which one do you thought was? Well, obviously I didn't hear you guys say that.
like stopped here. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to watch it.
The first season was kind of like weird. The second season got a little better, but it was just always playing catch up.
The
And
actor sucked in Fear the Walking Dead.
yeah,
Yeah, some of them were pretty bad.
yeah. The only good ones they kept killing off, like the son and daughter, both ended up getting killed off. I was like, those are the two best characters.
Wasn't there
Spoilers,
another
spoilers.
spin-off?
What?
Another spin-off? They were supposed to make another spin-off of Walking Dead.
I don't know. I mean, I think it still has its fan base. I think it's losing steam.
For sure.
But that's hard too because like you build up like your idea of the show, The Walking Dead, and your characters, and they do a spin-off and it's like, oh, it's the same world,
So-
but not any of the same
so-
people.
So segueing this, what's your ideal favorite show that you would make if you were to watch something in the future?
Yeah, open world.
Like GTA, where you just steal
Like,
cars.
what was something that drags you in back into the TV world? What's your ideal TV show that you would actually cling on to again?
So for me, it's probably like my same answer for the movies, like that sci-fi horror show, because there's like these random ones on Netflix that I watch. These like shows that are like 1 season, 2 seasons. Like some of them are like so good, like way better than other shows I've watched. Like I wish some of them would just like get a little deeper into the characters and the story, because like they just do these quick little like sci-fi horror things. But I feel like if they were to like put high budget money into it, like that would be like a pretty sick show, I think.
So you're looking for more of a Fringe type of show.
Not like Fringe got to the point where they started doing kind of like Monster of the Week type of thing, where it was like every week was kind of like filler episode where it was like not really related to the overarching story. Like I don't know, I kind of want a show that has like just a story that they stay with. Like I hate when they get to the point where they have to do filler because they like, you know, the TV network bought 20 episodes and they got to do 20 episodes. It's like that's what a little bit about binging is better, because like Netflix isn't buying like season packages. They're just saying like, oh, I'm big this show, so they have a little bit more freedom to like make a show that's more consistent versus like, oh, you have like episode 1, 5, 10, and 12 are related to the story. The rest of them you can like skip. So it's like, I guess that's kind of good with that. But yeah, I guess like some sci-fi horror show that was like 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 seasons maybe. I feel like that still hasn't been done.
So what would you say, Tim and Brian?
I feel like my answer would be, I don't know if you guys remember the show Merlin. It's like he's like a wizard kind of guy. It
was a BBC show, right?
Was it on Sci-Fi?
It was on like Sci-Fi, yeah.
Maybe.
I thought so.
It's
Anyways,
yeah.
I'm into that kind of thing, like the Game of Thrones, Merlin kind of style, the older and really like medieval time, whatever you want to call it.
Like Vikings?
I've never seen that one, but yeah, I kind of know what that's about a little bit. Yeah, something like that.
Tim?
Oh.
All right. So for me, it will be more like martial arts, like Into the Badlands, because I love the like stunts they do, the real action, not like the fake CGI stuff. Like I really don't like too much of the CGI unless it's really good and you can't tell if it's CGI at all, because there's a lot of people that use CGI really bad and it just looks horrible.
So do you think Thanos was real?
Maybe it does look kind of real.
So
But
was
like,
that good or bad? So was that good or bad CGI?
It's better CGI
Okay.
because back then, if they would have
It's like,
made
so you couldn't
Thanos-
tell if he wasn't real. It's like, so Thanos, he was real.
That kind of like reminded me of something that it's kind of movie topic, but it can be shows too, is when people like complain about CGI. Like I remember like in high school, it was like, it's kind of movies, but they were talking about like Transformers or something. And like one of the kids had a complaint that it's all CGI. I'm like, what the hell? You want them to get actual alien robots to transform?
Yeah.
Like, what else is it gonna be? That's what it is. Like, why are you like? It looks good. It's cool. So why are you complaining about the CGI? Like, I like that part of me. It's like you just don't like action movies with unrealistic concepts. Then.
Yeah, like that's not your style.
You're not complaining about CGI. You're complaining about it's like not realistic. Like that's really what that guy was saying. You know what I mean? Like that's one of my things that I hate.
If they were to make a Fast and Furious a TV show, would you watch it?
No.
'Cause I feel like in the movies the concepts are so simple. Like a show would just be it would be so character driven, and they wouldn't have any like good races, so it would just be like weird story. It'd be like a soap opera.
Yeah, what would be happening? Like, what would be the
Yeah, it would
point
be
of
like
this?
it'd be like a soap opera about like relationships and stuff, probably.
Tim, what's your
shit
idea?
I don't know. I don't know.
Apocalypse.
I like
Hopefully-
I kind of like that, like the post-apocalyptic thing, but I also like just like a superhero-y kind of power or even sci-fi kind of show. It's just something that's like Scott said, has like a continuing story, not just like a show-to-show thing where it's completely different, but also just something that's not like drama-y or like too realistic-y either. I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely like
sure.
something that's not real. Like,
Yeah,
I don't want to watch
yeah,
just like real life. Like, I want to watch
Yeah.
something that like is not a thing. Like, because that's what's interesting is like sci-fi and stuff like that. That's not. There's no spaceships like where people are walking on and like having
Yeah.
all this stuff and traveling to planets. Like, that's cool because it's not real. And like with Brian's thing, like some of that was real, but there was no like magicians and like wizards and shit like that. So it was like that element of like fakeness or something like that like adds interesting because it's like they can make up whatever they want and you've never heard of
Right.
it. You know what I mean? So like something that involves that.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Good.
good answer. Good.
Very nice.
But yeah, I mean, for your what you brought up, Tim, I think we kind of keep coming back to that. It's just like people in general is just like that's what gets hard too for like some of these movies that like these movies tank or like they do really good and people say it was like really bad and stuff like that. And it's like if you go and you watch an entire movie and you have to spend so much effort telling everyone how bad it is, like it just seems like something that doesn't need to.
Why'd you waste your time and money watching the movie?
Yeah, like if you didn't like it, just don't tell anybody about it. And I feel like that's your purpose. Like it just kills me that people like go out of their way to say negative things. It's like somebody made that. Like again, maybe it's not your thing. Maybe it wasn't the best movie. It was like tons of people made that, and like no one was trying to make it bad. Like that's where I come from with like movies and shows. And people say they suck. It's like maybe it wasn't the best movie, but it's like everyone that made that movie probably was like really proud of it. And it's like there's like an element of like just being like a good person by like just saying something sucked. It's like you're basically like spitting in the face of all these people that made it. Just I don't know. That's why I kind of like see it when all those things is like if you can do that, I feel like you're just like a shitty person.
I agree. Like you said, some things are like better than others, but not every movie or show can be amazing.
Right.
Like, some people like different things, so it's like just don't watch it and don't worry about it. Like why do you gotta continually bomb on rag on stuff? Just don't watch it.
Like you're trying to bring it down versus just not talking about it. Like if you don't talk about it, then you don't spread the word. But you're like purposely trying to like trash it. It's like, well, what's the point? Like, did that movie do something to you?
That's why nowadays, like, as TV shows evolve, there's always a different tone. Just like right now, a lot of the top things that people are watching now are documentaries.
Yeah,
I like that.
Exotic and stuff like that.
Yeah, documentaries are good,
and,
but it's like
Jordan, Last Dance.
The documentaries are hard because depending on the topic, like they can get super like one-sided. Like
yeah,
I mean, this is a topic is stuff about everything, and this isn't really a documentary, but like remember that movie, The Social Network, the Facebook one?
Yep.
And like in the movie, like they make you. Yeah, Jesse Eisenberg. Like in the movie, they kind of make you feel bad for like the Andrew Garfield's character, like his friend that gets like screwed out of everything or whatever. And they were saying like, oh, like the writers of the movie worked with that guy, and they kind of like took his side of the story. It's not really a documentary. It's kind of like a weird example, but it's like if you watch the movie, you formed an opinion because you didn't know anything previous, and now it's like you're like on that person's side because like that's your only reference for information. But then like it's a movie or it's a show or it's like a documentary, so somebody's like pushing it in one direction. So I feel like
their narrative.
Yeah, so like those are really good, and like I mean like true crime type stuff where you're just watching like certain things is obviously it's all mostly just facts that they know, but it's like I feel like some people watch it with the wrong intention of like just jumping on a bandwagon type of thing. So I feel like that's like just like a precursor that I would put out there. Like just watch these things with like an open mind and like still form your own opinion. Don't just like jump in.
And there's still shows. They're still trying to entertain you. They still have to do other things in order to keep you watching.
Mm-hmm.
if they just wanted to get the
That's-
information out there, they would have just like posted like an article online. They wouldn't have like filmed a movie with a budget and edited it and stuff. Like they're trying to make money. So it's like, and again, not everything. You don't want to like shit on all these like documentaries, but it's like there are plenty of things. It's like even a thing more recently, with like about COVID and like vaccine type things. Like people just jump so quickly on these random little things, and it's like, all right, well now you have like one person's opinion, and like half the world runs with it.
Yep.
Yep. Well, I guess the takeaway from all of this, everyone likes different things.
Yep. So don't be a
And-
jerk.
Similar to another one, Tiger King. Everybody fell in love with Joe Exotic.
Yeah.
He was like a bad person.
Yeah, he's not a good human
tried
being.
to kill Carol Baskin. You could say fuck Carol Baskin all you want, but like she didn't try to kill him.
They were all
you know.
terrible. Everyone in that show was awful.
Like, I didn't watch it, but yeah, I mean, like just even the concept of like having the tigers and all that stuff they were saying is just like it's just all so bad. So yeah, people just jumped on it because it's it's filming and people are talking this and that. But it's like, how many people didn't know or give a shit about these people are like talking about this random ass dude and sending messages and all these things? It's like, really, like one little show can like super push the public in one direction.
Released at a very good time too. I mean, everybody's at home sitting on their ass, like it became super popular. I don't think it would have became even close to what it was if it was a normal day.
What's that the murder documentary that was popular before that one?
Making a Murder.
Yeah, Making a Murder.
Yeah, Making a Murder. That's another one that was
that was a good one. I like that one.
I mean, that was the one kind of was like talking about a lot of it's like facts driven because that's the only information they have. But I mean, it's still certainly like they have key witnesses and different things. But yeah, I guess like for Kristen's point, like, or if this was your point, but like nowadays it is harder. I feel like because people are so much more like I mean entitled, but also like I don't know, opinionated now. Like you got to be so careful with like what you say, what you portray, what you do. So I feel like shows don't really have the same freedom because like you're just scared of what to produce.
Ripped by all the people that watch it.
Yeah.
And just like what Tim said, like everyone likes different things. That's the thing. Like they try to get so many of the different audience with different stories and stuff.
Yeah.
It's so hard to keep track of everything.
I guess that's like kind of has to be their goal in a sense, though. They have to appeal to as many people as they can because that's
they
how
want
they
to make the most money. Yeah.
That's how they get more seasons. That's how they get like more people to watch, so they get ads. So they like that's how it works. But
yeah, no one watches like regular channels anymore. Like everyone watches everything on streaming services. So that's the new evolution now. But like I remember back then, you're just like, oh man, it's 7:00. Let's go on ABC and watch this documentary or this TV show that we're going to watch. This
funny
episode.
videos.
Yeah, you all would watch the same thing. This is like it's shifting now.
Like Walking Dead was the only reason why we would go on TV and watch it that day.
Pretty much.
Like imagine it being on like Netflix. Like what if Walking Dead was there already?
Just watch it whenever.
Yeah.
It would be different because like you wouldn't have things like The Talking Dead where you could like do all of that. Like that was the only show I've ever known that like had a show dedicated to just talking about this show.
Yeah, right immediately after it.
Like in the beginning, we're like, this is so weird, but then like we would watch it and like get all into the conversation. Like
I like the concept of it. It's really fun.
Special guests they had on every week.
Yeah. After a while, I was like, this is actually like a pretty cool thing because it was taking what everyone was doing on their own and bringing it into like a larger community, and I think that helped grow the show like undoubtedly.
Yeah. I don't even know did they do it with another show on AMC? I forget.
I think they
did it with Better Call Saul, but it didn't last.
Yeah,
it did like 2 episodes.
They also did it with Fear the Walking Dead too, but that's kind of the same thing. But
yeah,
I think Talking Dead was the only one of its kind that's done a talking show about what happened of what you see previously.
Yeah, I mean they had a good host too, and like Tim was saying, like he's just a good person. Like he's a kind of like a comedian guy, but he was like he's not a bad person. He wasn't like a fake like announcer. He wasn't like a random night show person who's like super fake and telling crappy jokes. Like he was into it and like enjoyed it and would have conversations. So it was like it was good. It fit for the time and it worked while it did.
It definitely did. It was good. All right, well,
damn,
that was
TV shows. That was a solid show.
We're running. I don't know how long that went, but
I think we're still under an hour, but yeah, that was That was solid. I didn't think we'd make a whole episode, but nice job, Christian,
Nice.
kicking it off.
As the curtains close, we end our show today
What
with
episode?
me, episode 9.
There we
you
go.
Got it right. Good job.
We'll get him on the same
And
page
thanks
eventually.
again. Thanks again for joining us, and we will be back next week.
For episode
10.
He also died.
10.
So thanks for
One of
watching,
these.
guys. Follow us on IGN. I mean,
Follow us on this random website we don't own.
sorry, fix that out. You can bleep it later.
IGN. What the hell
on-
is that?
Stop promoting
Follow
other
us on
people, Christian.
Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We have audio on Spotify. And do we have it on Google Podcasts?
Yeah, Google and Apple as well.
Yeah.
Just search Bored with the Boys on anything. You should be able to find us. At least now we got a decent amount of content out there. So stay tuned
And
for
then-
everything else.
And so, yeah, stay tuned for our video game stuff too. That's amazing to watch too.
It's amazing to watch, too.
amazing.
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 getting
As we close. Bye, guys.
Thanks, guys. Peace.
Forward the boys.
Forward the boys. Tim, what are you doing?
I didn't work last time. I don't want to do it.
Jeez.